Hi, my name's Kylie, and I'm one of the librarians at the State Library. Today I'd like to take you back to 19th century Melbourne to visit one of the most popular amusements of the time, the Melbourne Waxworks. I first came across the Waxworks when I was researching a query that came through our Ask a Librarian service. And the more I read, the more intrigued I became. In fact, I've become a little bit obsessed with the Waxworks. So I hope you find this entertaining. And if you'd like to know more, please read our blog.
The advertisements state truly that everybody goes to the waxworks, and judging by the crowds that are constantly undergoing the process of ingress and egress, one can readily believe not only that everybody goes, but that everybody goes more than once. The Melbourne Waxworks was a wildly popular institution for over half a century. Like its famous London counterpart, Madame Tussauds, the Melbourne Waxworks walked the line between instructive entertainment and sensationalism. It displayed wax models of historical and current figures, both international and local. Wax figures included members of royalty, Napoleon, Shakespeare, and the Pope. New figures were constantly added to keep up with current events. But what tended to hold the most fascination was the Chamber of Horrors, with its likenesses of notorious criminals and scenes of torture. Much of the appeal was purely salacious, but it was also presented as a form of moral instruction, examples of what may happen to a boy in Victoria. Melbourne Punch, 1867. The waxworks is a colonial industry. The more murderers, the more it thrives. The manufacturer always keeps a lot of bodies on hand, and immediately upon a malefactor being hanged, pops a head upon one of them, advertises it, and in rush the public. The young author Marcus Clarke described his waxworks visit in 1865 in lurid detail. In one corner, poor Burke and Wills, the explorers, lie in the agonies of death. There lies the figure of a man with his head split open and bleeding, and his murderer with the fatal pickaxe yet in his hands. Death as a type of spectacle is of course nothing new. If you think about it, we're not that different from the Victorians. In the same way we devour true crime books, podcasts about serial killers, and Tarantino movies. A visit to the waxworks was the closest way to have a one-on-one encounter with an infamous criminal. But the waxworks was more than just a wax museum. It also had a lively tradition of vaudeville and sideshow acts. Visitors could enjoy drawing room entertainment, comprising of specially selected artists performing afternoon and evening. One of the most sensational acts of 1889 was an illusion known as amphitrite, which was achieved through the use of mirrors. The Herald reported, "The scene represents a cave under the sea, the illusion in this respect being absolutely perfect. In the water which fills the cave, a young and beautiful water nymph appears, gracefully floating, swimming, and diving. The lady who represents the part is evidently quite comfortable, for she smiles and looks very sweetly at her audience. She must be impervious to headache, for she is upside down for a considerable portion of her time."